Welcome everybody to the final of the webinar of this series from Open IIoT. Thanks first of all to everybody for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I know it's everybody's busy and there's a lot of these webinars out there at the moment, so thank you for attending this one. As you're probably aware, Open IIoT is a consortium of companies promoting IIoT technologies and modern manufacturing. Each with our own area of expertise. The consortium consists of Balluff, Nord Drive Systems, SMC, Beckhoff, ZI Argus, and we can each advise on potential projects from a technological and also a value stream perspective. Budgets are always an issue in upgrade projects, and it's always a factor to consider. So today's session is really centered around what help may be available in terms of funding for the projects. So today I've got two guests with me. I've got Shane Infante from Amtil and Philip Janakiewski from CSIRO to discuss a few of the options. Both Shane and Philip will deliver a short presentation about their respective organisations and some of the funding options. And then we'll open up to a panel discussion. So as we're going through, if any questions come to mind, if you can please just pop them into the meeting chat function, and we'll get to those either throughout or at the end of the webinar. Say we're going for time. So I think without any more delay, I'll introduce Shane Infante, who's going to make the first presentation. So Shane is a qualified industrial chemist and he's worked in the manufacturing industry for over 30 years. He's currently Chief Executive Officer of Australian Manufacturing Technology Institute, AMTIL, a leading association which addresses the issues related to the advanced and precision manufacturing industry in Australia. Shane's main focus is on technology and innovation and encouraging manufacturers to invest in these areas. He's the current director of the Advanced Manufacturing Cooperative Research Centre, AMCRC, and chairman of RMIT's Centre for Advanced Manufacturing Advisory Committee. Obviously, a very busy guy. So thanks for your time, Shane, and I'll pass over to you now to make your presentation. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim, and thanks for the opportunity to give you some information. Welcome everybody. A lot of you may not be aware of AMTIL. I'm not going to spend much time on this slide at all. As Jim said, we're an industry association specialising in the precision engineering and advanced manufacturing sector. We have 320 company members, 7,000 associates. Some of you may be aware of probably our flagship initiatives, which are our AusTech exhibition that runs every 2 years in Melbourne, and our AMT publication that we produce bi-monthly. I just want to bring your attention to a change to the exhibition. National Manufacturing Week used to run every 2 years alongside AusTech. That show has been replaced now by Australian Manufacturing Week, and that will continue to run alongside AusTech every 2 years. That show was scheduled to be in May 2020. 2021 will now be held in March 2022. That's all that I'm going to speak about us. I just want to get straight into some of the manufacturing policies that are around at the moment. It always amazes me that as much as a lot of these policies I'm going to talk about are promoted, they seem to be well kept secrets from people. So I'm hoping that most of you will be aware of most of what I'm going to talk about, but it always surprises me that people aren't familiar with some of the programs that are around. The budget last week highlighted a $1.3 billion modern manufacturing initiative. There's really little detail on this program at the moment, but I was talking to the government yesterday, and they expect that by early next year they'll have a lot of these initiatives in place. My gut feel on this initiative is that it's going to be born up of a number of different programs, and we'll wait to see the detail. For example, we are actually talking to the federal government at the moment around a technology diffusion program that we want to run over the next 3 to 5 years, which will be a concerted effort by a number of companies to promote not just the new technology that's around, but also how to use it, the methodologies and techniques behind using that technology. So we're hoping to be a part of that 1.3 billion. We'll have about a $7 million spend that we'll be applying for. So we'll keep you up to date on that. The Modern Manufacturing Modernisation Fund, the MMF, this is a program that has run previously. It is a good program. Again, this will open in the next 6 weeks. And it is looking for companies that have projects. That there's no particular limit on this, but they're looking for companies that have projects around that $500,000 to $1 million mark that they'll fund on a dollar for dollar basis. So there'll be around about 150 firms. It is a grants program, and it is merit based. So just to bear that in mind. But they will make quick decisions. One of the criticisms that we've had of this fund over the past is that it has drawn out and been a sort of 6 to 9 month exercise between putting an application in and finding out whether you're successful. So we want quick turnarounds, and that's what we're expecting. It'll open in the next 6 weeks, and the decisions will be announced by February. So normally firms are awarded funds in the vicinity of sort of $300,000 to $500,000, and that'll make up, out of 150 firms that expense will sort of take up the majority of the 52 million. The Supply Chain Resilience Initiative is a new one. This is really to look at, they talk about supply chain vulnerabilities. Again, this has been brought on by COVID, where we sort of had a lack of critical products at one stage, and sort of went out and asked companies whether they were able to change their production facilities and supply critical products for working through COVID. So they're just putting that in place. This will be looking at not just local opportunities, but international opportunities as well. So again, the detail on how that's going to be handed out to companies is still to be unveiled, but again, a substantial amount of money there for identifying opportunities for critical product manufacture. Some of you may be aware of industry growth centres. They have been around for around 5 years now. They've been extended out for another 2 years. They operate in similar areas to those 6 high-profile areas that have been identified under the MMI. We are working with the Advanced Manufacturing Industry Growth Centre on a program specifically around Industry 4 and the uptake of technology in that space. So again, we ran a small program with them about 12 months ago in that area, and we're keen to get some funding to continue some work in that space. So again, we can through the Open IoT network, we can keep you up to date on that. The Entrepreneurs Program is a flagship program for the Commonwealth. It's been around for over 10 years. It's had bilateral support all through that time. Again, if you're not aware of it, there's 4 main parts of this program. The first one is around industry advice. It's a free service. It's a terrific program, and I'd encourage any company really that you need to be in business for over 3 years and be turning over $1.5 million. But if you're in that space, and under $100 million, if you're in that space, it's really well worth looking at. These are senior business advisors that come into your business, spend a day or two with you, working through with your senior management, identifying areas of product improvement, and generating some recommendations. It is free and obligation free. You can put it in the bottom of your filing cabinet when you're finished if you don't want to act on it. If you do want to act on it, there is then funding through the program of up to $20,000, again on a dollar for dollar basis. So if you did go through a program and one of the productivity improvements, for example, was to invest in a new ERP system, and that was going to be a $40,000 spend, you can apply for $20,000 through the program and have it part funded. So that's one part of the program. There's another part around research and development, and there's a third part around commercialising intellectual property. So have a look at it. And I'll send through links to all of these programs through the network as well, but well worth looking at. I put the R&D tax incentive down there only to just highlight that the R&D tax concession is being replaced with the R&D tax incentive. Now, I'm not fully across this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on it, but my understanding is that the incentive itself and the way that it operates hasn't significantly changed. It's just a subtle move from a concession to an incentive program. And look, the final one that I'd touch on is the apprenticeship subsidy, which is available up until the 30th of September next year. So if you are looking at putting on apprentices or trainees, just be aware that there is again 50% of the wages for any new or recommencing apprentice or trainee will be paid up until that period. So again, quite a good program and incentive for us to keep investing in the next generation of people coming through. That's all I've got, Jim, at this stage. Oh, sorry, there was one other one that I didn't have up there that I just wanted to highlight is the instant asset write-off. And again, I think most of you would be familiar with that, but that has now been extended to having no cap and extended up until June 2021. So again, this is in addition to the Modern Manufacturing Fund grant program, this is a tax-based program to get people investing in technology. We're already seeing the benefits of that, certainly through our membership. The number of companies that are continuing to invest in technology is actually increased over the past 6 months compared to 12 months ago. So we're going through some difficult times, but people are still investing and recognise the importance of having new technology in place. Thank you, Jim. I'll pass back to you now. I think Philip's going to be next.
Thanks, Shane. That's really informative. So yeah, I'll pass over to Philip now. Just a quick introduction. Philip Janakiewski, and apologies, Philip, if the pronunciation is not quite right there.
All good, Jim.
Philip is the team leader for food engineering at CSIRO Agriculture and Food. He has expertise in the design and operation of food and beverage processes, with a focus on biomass conversion into value-added foods and ingredients that will enhance consumer health and well-being. Philip provides specialist advice and expertise in extraction and separation technologies, and with over 20 years of experience working with protein ingredients. He's a keen interest in digitalisation of food manufacturing.
Great, thanks for thank you, Jim, for inviting me to this forum, and good morning, everyone. Just probably a nice follow-on from Shane's presentation in terms of that innovation ecosystem that CSIRO provides, but also the way we engage and some of the funding programs that we have access to and some of our partners have access to. So just wanted to briefly speak about that as well. So for those of you that have worked with CSIRO before, there's various different business units across. I belong to the agriculture and food business unit, which is over 1,000 staff and across 25 different sites, really all over the country. I'm based at the Food Innovation Centre in Werribee, so just west of Melbourne. And we have, from a food point of view, some food-specific sites in Brisbane and one in Sydney as well. In terms of how we partner and how we collaborate, We have over 500 partners and collaborators, and work really end to end from from pre-farm gate type projects all the way through to the consumer and beyond. So there's, I think there's a very broad expertise in terms of what we provide. Just a brief slide here on the team, the food engineering team that I lead. We cover a whole range of different topics around food processing and really some of those more advanced also techniques, and now moving through to looking at how we integrate food unit operations with digital platforms and the industry for advanced manufacturing type tech that is enabling that transformation. In terms of the innovation landscape, I wanted to put this slide up because it is very broad. So the way CSIRO engages and the way the agriculture and food business unit engages is across not just working with research partners and government, but also working through with the universities, working through with startups, with SMEs, and globally. We have a global CSIRO global team. So we have landing pads in different parts of the world, in the US, in Singapore, some of those kind of key markets around where we see opportunities for collaboration and innovation through partnerships. There's a number of other programs, programs like the Switch program, which are all about getting researchers out to industry, and I've been through one of those programs with Mars. It's basically getting researchers, scientists, and engineers to work with the food sector or with industry, and so this is where you get access to an engineer or scientist for a period of anywhere between 6 to 12 months, fully paid by CSIRO, and that gives you then access to the wider network of CSIRO and I guess those connections into various parts and business units. There's also the On Prime program, which is all about really road testing ideas and taking those ideas and fast tracking some of those ideas through to commercialization. And also the probably worth mentioning is the other part of CSIRO, which is the venture capital side, which is called Main Sequence Ventures. It's really a Main Sequence really manages CSIRO's innovation fund, has up to $100 million in there to really create those and unearth those new companies and then build them through to to scale. So it is a very, very broad landscape around those opportunities for grants. There's a whole range of grants. I very much agree with Shane that a lot of these programs are often either hidden somewhere, or when they do open, some of these bigger programs, they tend to open for a period of time, so maybe 6 to 8 weeks, and you really have to be, have to be ready with your application, have to have that paperwork almost in place, have the ideas, the budgets all set up. So when these programs open, you're ready to go. So in terms of SME Connect, this is a really great program for SMEs. There are different tiers, and so the initial kind of program, which is called Kickstart, it funds. You can have 2 dips at this program, so up to $50,000 matched funding. There's some qualifying criteria around what is an SME, and typically these are short-term projects up to 12 months. And CSIRO is the only research partner that you can engage on that kind of program. The Innovation Connections program, obviously, it's a longer, a slightly larger program. The qualifying criteria is also slightly different, but it's open to all public research organisations, so you can partner with anyone anyone that you like in that innovation ecosystem. And then there's the STEM Plus Business Program, where it's again it's probably the next tier, up to $115,000, and running over longer term projects, 2 to 3 years. I think the good part about the innovation programs, these innovation programs, and the SME Connect team is they really help and provide that assistance for clients. They'll define the business problem or the innovation challenge that you're looking at. They'll help you find those research partners and opportunities. They'll locate the right capability for you to meet your needs around the project. They'll help you really facilitate and scope the project as well, and give you access to different grants and project agreements and contracts as well. So they really support you in that kind of build. If you don't necessarily have that within your business, they'll help you set up some of these projects. We work very closely with the SME Connect team. I typically get 3 to 4 emails every week of clients coming in and saying, this, we've got a challenge here and can you help? And typically the answer is, either yes, or the answer is no, but we know someone else that can help you. So it's always a conversation, and it doesn't necessarily need to end with CSIRO, but we're very much about creating those connections with other research partners and other funding grants as well. Nationally, there's a number of programs. So as you can see across, there's different national and federal government programs in terms of accelerating commercialization, growth grants. So I'm not going to go through all of these. And then there's those bigger type, longer term programs where they're CRCP type programs where you can partner with a research organisation. You can bring in kind. Obviously, if you can bring some cash contributions into those programs, they're very helpful as well. And typically they're longer term programs, $1 to $1.5 million and above, and really set you up to take a process or a product or technology to make it really commercially ready. So I just wanted to put this up because there are also different qualifying criteria for some of these programs, and state government programs also run these voucher type initiatives where it's a one-off $10,000 voucher where there's no contribution required. Shane mentioned the growth centres. So from a food point of view, Food Innovation Australia Limited, FIAL, is the food growth centre. We actually co-locate with FIAL. We've got a really good relationship with them. They do run a number of programs and grants during the year as well. They ran a Black Summer innovation program. So for anyone who was impacted by either COVID or the bushfires at the start of the year, there was basically a straight out $25,000 grant. That it was a very competitive process, but yeah, it was something that where you could really get something for almost for no, not without any contribution from your end. Excuse me. So there is a number of grants that are competitive. Some are open all year round, like the SME Connections grant is worth noting that it's open all the time. Whereas some grants are typically, there's a timeline and a deadline in terms of when they're open and when they close. So just to give you a couple of examples of, I guess in that food space again, that's the area that I work in. These are two companies that we've helped over the last 12 months really take a process that through the process development phase. So we engaged with the EAT group initially and helped them develop a process around faba bean to produce I guess a protein ingredient, a plant-based protein ingredient out of faba bean. That really helped them through partner with, I guess, in the commercial sector to find the capital to build a facility in Horsham, and they are in the process now of commercialising and commissioning, and commercialising the process. So hopefully in the next couple of months they'll be able to run their fava bean protein ingredient. And I guess what we provided there was we provided the science and the tech background, but also provided the facilities and the opportunity for this company to do the scale up and really build their business. While they were building their factory in Horsham, there's obviously a period where you still want to be manufacturing something, and that's where we also provide that service of access to the Werribee pilot plant and the food grade factory. And just the other example there is Feed2Food. So you may have seen the Rebel Whopper in Hungry Jack's, and this company has now started selling their plant-based meat into Coles and Woolies just only in the last couple of weeks. So this was a company that, I guess, a different partnership again, a partnership with CSIRO, where we've invested in this venture, and I guess Main Sequence also invested, and now they're really kicking goals in terms of that plant-based food, and still working out of the pilot plant in Werribee. So while they're building their factory in Wodonga, using the pilot plant in Werribee to still do the product development. So I won't talk about this slide at all because Shane's already covered the new programs and a hell of a lot more in terms of what I had there. But yeah, so that's all from me, Jim, and thanks again, and happy to take any questions from anyone if there's any queries about what I've presented. So thank you.
Thanks, Philip, and thanks, Shane. There's a few questions that have started to come through. We've got to really, how admin intensive is the funding process? How long does it generally take to get the funding, and what's the quickest, easiest path? So, basically, what's the first step? And I think, Philip, you mentioned that you kind of have to have everything ready when the funding schemes are announced. How do we start that process? I guess to Philip first.
Okay, yeah, no worries. I'm sure Shane can have a crack at this one too. Yeah, look, there are some programs that are open all the time, so you don't really have to have all the paperwork ready. There was a national stewardship program around recycling, which kind of fitted into food waste, that opened early in the year, and it was kept very, very kind of under wraps, and not many people really knew about it. And when it opened sort of June, let's say, and it closed end of July, so it was only about 8 weeks. And you really have to get a lot of letters of support. You need to have that research partner that you need. So a lot of it has to be, a lot of preparation has to go into having the ideas there. We know these programs are coming, these large, programs that federal government has announced. So, I mean, preparing and getting your ideas, getting your innovation challenges, talking to either partners, suppliers, researchers, whoever it is in the system that you need. It's always good to start that conversation early. We always help with the paperwork. We always help draft, the kind of the bulk of the research ideas and all those. So there's a lot of support and help that we can provide, and I think others do as well. It's not just CSIRO. I think there's also consultants that do that, and there's a whole range of people you can access for support.
Okay, and Shane, anything to add to that?
Oh, yeah, look, I'd just add that it does very much depend on the program, I suppose, but something like the modern, the manufacturing fund, if you got a $500,000 or $1 million expense and you're applying for funding, as Philip said, you need to be on the ball. My recommendation would be get some expert advice, get some help. Don't try and do it yourself. We don't provide that service ourselves, but we do have third parties that we work through, so we're happy to pass on details. But something like the Entrepreneurs Program, for example, I mean, that's a pretty simple process. If you want to apply for an advisor to come out, that you can do that yourself, and the advisor will then work through with you on it. If you're going to apply for that $20,000 of funding, they'll work through that with you, and you can probably do that yourself. But for anything of significance, I'd certainly recommend getting some consultant help.
Okay, thanks for that. Another couple of questions coming through. Where would we go to find out more about the available schemes? Would it be to your organisations directly, or is there a way that an SME can register to kind of keep up to date with new schemes that are coming out on new initiatives?
Yeah, we're certainly you can certainly come to us. We've, as I said, we've got links to all of the programs that are available. But there is also, if you, I should know there is a grant program summary that the government have, which does highlight all of the grants available, and you can subscribe to a newsletter that comes out from them. So I'll get those details through to you, Jim, and you can pass them on.
Yeah, we'll post that on the LinkedIn page, etc., and on the website. Yeah. Just one or two final questions then. So this question came through about the if I was an exporter, or if I'm an exporter, what are there still schemes available, funding schemes available to me as an exporter, or does it have to be domestic market?
Yeah, Philip, I can take that one if you like. Sure. There is the Export Market Development Grant. This is another well-kept secret that people are not aware of. And this has been expanded under the government just recently as well. So by another 60 million, there's $207 million of funding under the EMDG, and that is really for any company that is not they don't have to be exporting, even if you're looking at export. So it's looking at export markets. So if you travel overseas, visit a trade show, or even exhibit at a trade show, or work with Austrade to get some knowledge, even down to the development of design and collateral, printing of material for you to go overseas and take. So that it's a very wide range of money that you can claim. Now you have to claim over. You have to be claiming over $15,000. But if you've spent over $15,000, then anything over $5,000, you get half back. And again, there's no cap on this, so you can. What they do is they apply a ceiling where they guarantee the funds. When the current ceiling is $100,000, so you need to have spent $205,000, if that makes sense, to be able to claim $100,000 back. And if you spend over $205,000, then if there's money left in the kitty, you'll get that as well. So it's a fantastic program. It runs for, and you can make 7 claims. So any business can make over, and they don't have to be 1 year after the other. So again, the advice is if you're in that export market, wait until you've had some big years where you spend a lot of money to maximise the return. But you can do 7 years of claims. So it's a very good program. I'll send details of that through as well, Jim. Okay,
that's great. Well, there's a few more questions coming through, but unfortunately we're out of time this morning. What I'll suggest is the meeting, I think, has been recorded, so we will be able to post that onto our website and also on the LinkedIn pages. We'll also put up the details of how to contact Shane and Philip. And the other information that's going to get sent through to us, so we'll be able to access this. But obviously, if anybody's got any questions, you can contact Open IIoT members directly, or obviously Shane or Philip. So yeah, just I'd like to say thanks everybody for your time in attending the meeting. Special thanks to Philip and Shane. I think that was really informative, and there's a lot of food for thought there, and really amazing to me how much money's out there and available. We just need to be able to claim it. So thanks very much, and I think we'll end the meeting there. Thank you.